off with Mike Trudell.
Hey, LeBron, Mike Trudell from LA. Just wondered, what were you looking to get accomplished tonight, not individually, but as a team? What was the focus, and how did you feel like the team and your teammates responded?
Well, first of all, I want to continue to shed light on, justice for Breonna Taylor and to her family and everything that's going on with that situation. To answer your question, we want to just try to get better. We use this moment as a training camp to continue to implement our identity. Our identity is to defend, share the ball, push the tempo, and play together. So I think we was able to accomplish that to as close as 40 minutes as possible.
Alrighty, folks, what is up? We are here. We are live. Are you ready? What's up? How are you guys doing? Welcome to the 2-for-1 Nightly NBA Recap Show. Hold on, let me make sure my mic is on. Okay, mic's on. Sounds good. Welcome, 2-for-1 Nightly NBA Recap Show. As you just heard, LeBron James, he spoke to the media today after their scrimmage versus the Dallas Mavericks. We will get into that in a second. But for my opening block, what I really want to talk about is the job that these NBA players have been doing while in the NBA bubble as it pertains to Black Lives Matter, dealing with the Breonna Floyd, murder, as well as the George Floyd murder. These players have done a tremendous job of speaking out, of continuing to speak out. I think that the league did not do too much by having Black Matters on the court. I think that they actually did it in a very subtle way and in a way that's going to not cause too much attention to it, but also it'll forever be a part of it. I was a person that was a personal critic of the Black Lives Matter on the court, and I also felt as though I didn't necessarily believe that the players needed to be in the NBA bubble in order to speak their piece, which I still feel in terms of their piece. But the players continue to surprise me in terms of how well spoken they are in regards to everything that is going on, kind of in terms of social justice and what is currently happening in the world. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually going to play a second clip from LeBron where he further goes into what life is like as a black man. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk basketball from tonight's NBA action. I'll let LeBron take it away. He was talking to the media today.
So I never shied away from being who I am and speak about things that not only affects me, that hit home for me, but also affect my community and affect black people. Because we've been going through it a lot. I've seen a video today of a black man inside like a Walmart or Target or whatever trying to buy a bike for his son. And the cops was called on him. He had a receipt and everything. And the cops was called on him and they arrested him inside the store and took him outside. And it's just heartbreaking, man. You guys don't understand unless you're a person of color. You guys don't understand. I understand that you might feel for us, but you can never really truly understand what it is to be black in America. So.
All right, I agree. You never really can truly understand what it's like to be black in America until you are black in America. And I think that LeBron has done a great job of continuing to be a leader. LeBron has always been a thought leader, one of the guys in the NBA that actually is worthwhile looking up to. If you've ever heard me say anything about LeBron on the basketball court, you know that I am not a huge LeBron James, the basketball player fan, but I am a huge fan of LeBron James, the person. I think LeBron James, the person, is one of the greatest human beings in the history of human beings. So let's go ahead, hop into some NBA action, and let's go ahead and let's get into it, recap it. The Mavericks and the Lakers, they had their scrimmage today. The Lakers came out on fire. LeBron came out looking like the beast that we all know LeBron James to be. The Mavericks actually won this game 108-104, even though LeBron James and Anthony Davis did not play in the second half. So let's go ahead and let's hop into some stats. Obviously, Luka Doncic played today, as well as Kristaps Porzingis. It wasn't the best outing from Luka Doncic, but it was great to be able to finally see these players and get back into the swing of things, into the swing of action. We finally are here. NBA basketball is here. Let's go ahead. Let's hop into the Lakers side. The Lakers side, LeBron and Anthony Davis both only played the first half only. They both played 15 minutes. They both scored 12 points. LeBron James was a plus 12 for the game. Anthony Davis was a plus 10 for the game. AD had no blocks, but he was still a terror out there on defense. He had 2 steals. LeBron had a steal as well as 1 turnover. LeBron put up 5 assists, including a very nice dime to JaVale McGee, as well as an incredible dime to Dwight Howard before the end of the half. The Lakers today look extremely good. I actually am very encouraged by what I saw from the Lakers, and mainly encouraged by what I saw from Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith. I think if you are looking at Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith, those are the two guys that you were essentially kind of looking at for the Lakers and wondering what you could get for them. Well, in the second half, Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith were both on the floor at the same time. Dion Waiters was out there doing Dion, putting people on the island. I personally thought Dion was shooting maybe a little bit too much, but it's a scrimmage. He looked to be extremely, extremely comfortable with the team and with everything that was going on. So if anything, I think that this is actually a very encouraging sight for the Lakers. The problem is Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma looked bad, bro. Kyle Kuzma looked very, very, very bad today. He had a play where he looked Bron off, ran down the court, dribbled it between his legs, went up to the lane, threw a floater up, and it was a big fat air ball. Kyle Kuzma, I said I was picking you over Brandon Ingram, and this is how you repay me. You look terrible out there. Send some help, please, for Kyle Kuzma, because Kyle Kuzma has been out there getting worked. He has to. Kyle Kuzma, please, for the culture, for me, for the culture, for every single Lakers fan around the world, do better, because this is not going to cut it. Frank Vogel said the other day that he did not think that the Lakers had a third option on their team and that their third option was the open man. Well, Frank, if Kyle Kuzma is going to be the open man, you better get to worrying. And don't get me wrong, I have been a person that has spoke very, very highly of Kyle Kuzma. If you follow us on Twitter, you know that I have specifically said that I thought that Kyle Kuzma was better than Brandon Ingram. This year, no. Last year and the year before, yeah. This year, no. Kyle, what are you doing? I have a younger brother named Kyle. Kyle Kuzma, you're embarrassing me. Stay off Instagram. We don't need to see the fly fits. You know what we need to see? Some buckets. We don't need to see fly fits. We need to see buckets. Okay? Get it together, Kyle Kuzma. Somebody says, I think he's not going to see, playoff minutes in regards to Dion. Somebody else said Lakers trash. The Lakers are not trash. The Lakers are very, 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 very good and a very, very formidable opponent currently right now, standing in the way of every team in the Western Conference, including the Los Angeles Clippers. I think that LeBron James came out today and he looked like a man possessed. LeBron looked like he was ready. He was ready. And yes, Jack, Frank Vogel did speak multiple times about how Kyle Kuzma had been winning the day at practice. I'm sure he was practicing against the second team, not against the first team. And even if he was practicing against the first team ain't everybody else. It's terrible. Come on, Kyle. What is this? Look at this stat line. Come on. 9 points, 4-13 shooting, -5, 2 fouls, 1 steal. Okay, cool. 2 turnovers. Come on, man. Kuzma. Get it together, because you will be riding the Pine Pony come October in the finals if you do not play better. But let's go ahead and let's actually move on and let's actually talk about the king himself, LeBron James. LeBron James looked extremely, extremely good today in the scrimmage. I will play footage of LeBron talking post-game about how he felt about the scrimmage, but guess what? LeBron spent the whole post-game talking about Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, and what it means to be a black man to him. So shout out to LeBron. Thank you for holding it down. We appreciate you, brother. Keep doing your thing. He said, did you guys already do playoff predictions for the West? Well, I did, but I can go ahead and I can do it, at the end of this show. If you stick around, feel free, go ahead. By the way, before we get ready to completely hop into this LeBron talk, please, patreon.com/HNB. Go after this stream or go right now. Patreon.com/HNB. Go there, do your thing. Make sure you get it in, donate. We have content going up, podcast version of it, and we have an exclusive chat room open for all of the fans to be able to come and talk to me and Pavi and whoever you want to. So anyways, let's go ahead. Let's get back into it. LeBron James looked very good in the scrimmage. He was running like a freight train. Fume, up and down the floor. Fume, this way, that way, this way, that way. He was throwing the ball this way, that way. I was like, damn, LeBron. Damn, LeBron. Damn, LeBron. Look, y'all know I love my son Luka Doncic, but in that first half, LeBron looked like a man possessed. LeBron looked like a man on a mission. LeBron looked like a man that is ready to not only win the MVP, which he's not going to win because Giannis Antetokounmpo is the MVP. We're going to talk about the Greek Freak a little bit later because he spoke to the media today as well. And I have a clip coming from him later, once we talk about Bucks and Spurs. But LeBron looked great. So Lakers fans, y'all love to call me a hater. Y'all love to say, TPJ, why you always hating on LeBron? Well, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? You ain't hearing no LeBron hate. He looked good. This scrimmage was the most encouraging sign I've seen from the Lakers this year. And I will only say this year and this season is because with Anthony Davis and LeBron, as long as they were both healthy, I knew that they were both going to be at least top five. They were going to be at least top 5 players in the NBA and lead the Lakers to a top 5 seed in the West, which is exactly what it is that they have been currently doing. And shout out to you, Jack. He said the gray beard looks good on LeBron. Yes, I agree. The gray beard does look good on LeBron. Shout out to LeBron. If you're old and you get old, you sage me too. I just crossed the 30s. I'm into the 30s right now. LeBron only 5 years older than me. My gray is about to start coming through. About to turn my sexy on, my swag on. But guess what? I'm going to still be up here doing my thing, getting it in and making sure that we do these shows because unlike LeBron, I don't need to be an athlete. Although LeBron looked really, really great today. I think LeBron, and I mentioned this, a few times during our Hoops and Brews episodes, LeBron James is without a doubt, the most well-trained physical freak of nature in the history of sports. Giannis Antetokounmpo has the ability to maybe one day surpass LeBron if he can play longer at the same, kind of level as LeBron. Because I also had, my LeBron list earlier, where I essentially made my list of LeBron James, top. I believe it was. I just ranked all of his seasons, from start to finish. And this season, I think, is LeBron's 13th worst season ever. Now, Pavi had a great point. He said that just because this is LeBron's 13th worst season ever, that doesn't mean that LeBron is not the MVP. I agree, but LeBron not the MVP because LeBron is just not the MVP. It ain't got nothing to do with it being his 13th, 14th. It could be his damn 29th season. He's not the MVP because he's not the MVP. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the MVP. But anyways, LeBron looked good. You will hear no LeBron slander from me. Anthony Davis looked absolutely amazing. Anthony Davis, without a doubt, to me, is the best player on the Los Angeles Lakers. In time, after time, after time, after time, he comes in and he does what I think that he should do. And that's show his ass on that basketball floor. Anthony Davis is everywhere, always, all the time. He is a demon on defense, and he is extremely hard to tame on the offensive end, averaging more points than LeBron. When I saw earlier, even the Lakers put up the graphic that Anthony Davis leads the Lakers in like blocks, rebounds, steals, points, and some other stuff. I'm like, God damn, but LeBron the MVP? Huh, psych. Anyways, let's go ahead, and let's continue to move around the NBA and talk about some NBA action. We had Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo actually spoke to the media today post-game because he actually played in, in his first, game essentially since, not only the break, but also like some first real action from Vic in a while. Victor also alluded to, in a clip that I'm about to play in a second, how he felt as though his conditioning, kind of the first time around wasn't exactly what it needed to be. And even, his teammates have been saying in practice, in these practices, that he looks, like the best person in practice. And Victor alluded to the fact that, he looks that way because he's way better than he was when he first came back So I'm very happy, very proud for Victor Oladipo. I'm very happy, very proud for the Portland Trail Blazers, who are a team that has actually come back, and they have finally, and they're healthy, and I'm going to talk about them in a second. But anyways, let's go ahead. Let's hop into, tonight's action in between, the Portland Trail Blazers and Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers actually won this NBA scrimmage 91-88 over the Portland Trail Blazers. Carmelo Anthony played 20 minutes. Zach Collins played 19. Zach Collins being back is probably the biggest thing, for the Portland Trail Blazers, I think, honestly, that you could ask for. I think that even when you see the fact that Zach Collins, Jusuf Nurkic are in the lineup, there are two guys that last year, if you would have been talking to me about this Portland Trail Blazers team moving into next year, I would have been telling you that these two guys are the guys that I'm looking at as being the key for this Trail Blazers team. Now, although they didn't necessarily have, quote unquote, the most amazing game today, 14 points in 20 minutes for Jusuf Nurkic is amazing. Amazing. Hassan Whiteside being on the bench today and not playing today, and you still get this level of output, excuse me for burping, is amazing. Amazing. The only sucky part for the Blazers is that a guy like a Rodney Hood is out for the season with the torn Achilles injury. I think he would have allowed the Portland Trail Blazers to continue to move down their lineup and really go 10 deep. But now I personally feel the Trail Blazers have a very solid 8-man rotation. I think their 8-man rotation is going to be Carmelo Anthony, Zach Collins, Jusuf Nurkic, CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, Gary Trent Jr., Mario Henzoa, and you know what? Actually, I'm actually not going to even say Gary, Trent Jr. I'm actually going to say Trevor Ariza, and I'm going to say Hassan Whiteside. I think that will be their 8-man rotation as they move into the playoffs, and I think that will make that team a very formidable, opponent as they move forward. But TJ Warren, had for him, which was, I personally feel like, a solid game. I think, kind of looking at all these guys, I really just want to kind of see these guys just come in and get some kind of rhythm. I think even kind of him coming in and having a solid game is good for him because he's a guy that is a scorer, but also a very streaky scorer to me. So I wonder how he's going to look as they progress throughout these 8 games. Victor Oladipo, as I mentioned earlier, played today. He actually had a very solid game. He played 9 minutes. He didn't shoot great, but he was a +8 on the floor, which is really all you want from a guy that's coming back. He also gave you 6 rebounds. He had an assist. He had 3 turnovers, but the rust will come. I'm only looking for Victor Oladipo to actually come out, and just continue to play and do what I am looking for him to do, being a player that is coming back from injury. And that's to play within yourself, go out, get buckets, ball out when you can, and do what you can. I'm actually going to play a clip from Victor Oladipo right now. He spoke to the media earlier today about how it felt to come back and be back in action. This is Victor Oladipo talking to the media.
In those first couple runs, knowing that, for a time there, you didn't think this was going to be part of the plan this year?
Just going up and down and, trying to just flow with the game. I think today was really big, just making sure we get our conditioning up and just get a feel for the game again. Obviously, it's been a minute since all of us have played in a live game. So it was just fun to be out there, being able to compete. I felt pretty good. Like I said, my body and mind just got to get used to the flow of the game again, and that'll come. But overall, I felt pretty.
All righty. Shout out to you, the up and up. He said, long live the king. Please just say it. He said he would like the video. Fine. Go ahead, like the video. But you heard Victor Oladipo. For him, he just wants to get comfortable. He just wants to be in the field, to be in the action, to actually, get a chance to work himself back. I actually think that Victor Oladipo might be my sleeper, for the NBA bubble, kind of surprise player. I think that he is a guy that can come in, and even if you are looking at the NBA standings currently right now, which actually I'm going to pull it up in a second on the screen. If you're looking at the current NBA standings right now, right? So let's go ahead. Let's hop into some NBA standings. If you look at the current NBA standings right now, the Indiana Pacers are currently sitting at the 5th seed right now, right? So with them at the 5th seed, they actually have the opportunity in the bubble to go all the way up as high as the 4th seed. I think home court advantage versus the Miami Heat is something that the Indiana Pacers need if they want to beat the Miami Heat in the first round. I honestly think also if the Pacers were a team that, let's just say, were considering tanking and dropping down a little bit so that way they could potentially have to play the Boston Celtics, I think that actually would be a matchup for them that would fare very well. I think Philadelphia is going to make light work of the Celtics in the first round. I think that the Miami Heat will most likely beat the Pacers if the Pacers are not at home. And I think that the Bucks and the Raptors will run over whoever their opponent is because they're playing against G League teams. Exactly. But anyways, let's go ahead. I actually want to switch gears a little bit and hop back a little bit to this, Lakers Mavericks game to actually talk about Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis, who actually looked very, very good today. Luka Doncic was a guy that was reported, by numerous reports that he wasn't in shape, that he had not been participating in basketball, activities while everyone was away, for quarantine due to COVID-19. He is a guy that came out today, looked extremely well, played within himself, played within stride. He had a couple turnovers, but honestly, I think Luka Doncic is one of those guys where most of his turnovers are going to come off of him hitting people in the hands with the ball and them missing it. Bobby, I love you. Boban, you are one of my favorite players in the NBA. One of my favorite guys in the NBA. But Boban, catch the damn ball. Catch the ball. You got hands of stone out there. Hands of feet, butter, whatever you. Bobby, catch the ball. Jesus. Come out. And no, I'm not saying sub to PewDiePie. Get out of here. So somebody who's, chatted anything. No, we're not subbing to PewDiePie. You want me to say sub to PewDiePie, put that on my show, tell PewDiePie to come on this show and talk some basketball with me. Anyways, Kristaps Porzingis as well looked very good. I thought that he's a guy that obviously is coming back from the ACL, tear. He played, played a lot of games this season, was, very, very, very up and down, very, very, very inconsistent during the season. He's a guy that I think has essentially had the opportunity to come in and play what I think amounts to a full season for a guy that is injured coming back from an ACL injury, because usually those guys will come back, play a half a season or sprinkle some games in, and then not be able to be themselves. Kristaps Porzingis has been able to be himself. He's been able to come in and play. He's played numerous games this year. He had a 3-month, layoff. I'm looking at Kristaps Porzingis as being the guy that can be the X factor in the West. I think if Kristaps Porzingis can come out and be any, and when I say any, I mean anything at all, like he was in New York, which he has not been at all in Dallas. The West better look out, because let's go ahead. Let's hop back into the standings. Let's look at the standings, right? The Mavericks currently right now are only a game and a half back of the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets are a team that I think is vulnerable. They are a team that I think if you get them into the playoffs in the first round, which they're looking to be playing the Nuggets, they can either win it in 5 or lose it in 5. The Mavericks would be playing the Clippers in the first round, which is unfortunate. And honestly, if I'm the Mavericks, I really want to get to that 3 seed. Because playing the Clippers in the first round, I think the Mavericks are going to get easily, and when I say easily, I mean easily destroyed by the Clippers in the first round, because not only do the Clippers have numerous bodies to be able to throw at the Dallas Mavericks time after time, play after play, they have size. They have numerous point guards. They also have a guy that's top 3 in the league in Kawhi Leonard. Luka is in my top 5. Earlier this year, I had Luka top 3, but then obviously he got injured, ankle injuries, he kind of fell off. Luka's still in my top 5, but Kawhi Leonard is in my top 3. My top 3, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kawhi Leonard, and Anthony Davis. Then LeBron James 4, Luka Doncic 5, because I think LeBron has played every game this year, or at least all of the ones that were available to him. So he deserves what he gets on that end. So I have no beef at all with LeBron doing what he does and putting him in that top 5. Now, is he better than the top 5? I don't know. I'm not going to put LeBron better than number 4. That's where it begins. That's where it ends for Bron. Bron win a ring. Bron a big dog on the block. Bron number 1 again. But if you don't, it is what it is. Anyway, let's go ahead. let's move on. Let's actually hop into the next game. We're going to make this very, very, very fast. The Phoenix Suns play the Utah Jazz. Shout out to Rudy Gobert, the guy who put the NBA on pause for catching COVID. Shout out to Rudy. I'm glad that he's healthy. I'm glad that the team is healthy as it pertains to COVID. The Phoenix Suns actually beat the Utah Jazz today, 101-88. Obviously, the Jazz starters did not play into the second half. Donovan Mitchell. Well, I'm not going to say play into the second half, but they didn't play the full second half. Donovan Mitchell put up 21 minutes today. Joe Ingles played 21 minutes. Rudy Gobert played 21 minutes. Mike Conley, 20. Jordan Clarkson, 20. I think the very interesting thing for the Utah Jazz is actually the loss of Bogdan Bogdanovic. I think is going to be a huge hole for them. I think you now have to rely on Joe Ingles every single night to go out and do what he did last year for you, which it was smooth. Joe Ingles is smooth. But do I want Joe Ingles to be the guy that's going to be my second option on offense? No. Do I want Jordan Clarkson to be the guy that's going to be second option on offense? No. At this point in my Conley career, do I want Mike Conley to be my second option on offense? No. No, and no. But I do think that Royce O'Neal and Jordan Clarkson together, combined, can supplement some of that offense that you are missing from Bogdanovic. The other thing about Bogdanovic not being there, and I think the biggest thing is his defense. He was a guy that even when he was in Indiana last year, defended at a very high level, played at a very high level, and now that you don't have him for the entire bubble run, I think any shot at the Utah Jazz had, and not only a title run is over, but I think honestly the Utah Jazz, I picked them to miss the playoffs before this year, which I was wrong. They're most definitely going to make the playoffs unless something they're going to make the playoffs because regardless, so they're not going to not make the playoffs. But I do think that if the Utah Jazz fall down into this 5 seed, 6 seed, or 7 seed, they are going to get swept. And you heard me. They're going to get swept in the first round by the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nuggets, or the Rockets. Remember I said that. Anyways, moving on from those. Oh, and are they contenders? Because I forgot I put that up there. No, they're not contenders. No, I'm sorry. I'm not rocking with it. They're not contenders. They ain't been contenders to me all year long. So let's go ahead. Speaking of contenders, let's hop on and talk about the Blazers. The Blazers have everyone healthy on their team with the exception of Rodney Hood, which is actually really great. Yusef Nurkic played great today. Carmelo Anthony looks to be in the best shape of his career, or at least the best shape that we've seen him for a long, long time. So I do think that what it comes down to for the Portland Trail Blazers is, can CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard step up when it matters to be big and money players? Last season, it was pick and choose. One night it was CJ, one night it was Dame. One night it was CJ, one night it was Dame. One night it was CJ, one night it was Dame. And then for a whole series it was Dame. And then for a whole series it was CJ. And then for a whole series it can't be that way. In order for the Portland Trail Blazers to not only make the playoffs, but also to defeat the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round like I'm predicting that they're going to do, they have to get consistent guard play night in and night out from CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard, and shout out to my guy, Anthony Simons, who I have a lot of footage of because when they played pregame versus the Clippers, I was able to shoot a lot of slow-mo footage of him. So shout out to Anthony Simons. I'm happy that the Blazers have health on their side. I think that they are going to be one of the largest teams, one of the most formidable options, and I think that all you have to do is beat the Lakers in the first round. And if the Portland Trail Blazers beat the Lakers in the first round, they have an easy road to the Western Conference Finals. It's easy. And yes, Louis, I don't rock with the Jazz. I think the Blazers got a better shot at winning the championship than the Utah Jazz. Anyways, let's go ahead. Before we get ready to get on and round up things, let's actually talk about my guy, the freak of the East, the Greek freak, Giannis, the Greek freak. He the freak of the East. Freak of the East. Freak of the East. Freak of the East. He the 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 freak of the East. I said, he the freak of the East. Shout out to my guy. Where my drum, man? I wish I had my drum. I'm about to play this clip of Giannis actually speaking about the first scrimmage game today. The Bucks defeated the San Antonio Spurs. in today's action. Giannis played very, very good. The Milwaukee Bucks came on in the second half and really showed their what in front of the world and blew the Spurs out of the water. But let's go ahead. Let's hear Giannis Antetokounmpo talk about what it felt like to finally return to action and how he felt about the first NBA scrimmage for his Milwaukee Bucks.
In a lot of respects, today's game felt kind of like a normal Bucks game where you guys kind of maybe get off to a little bit of a slow start and then really get things going in the third quarter and kind of cruise from there. Did it feel normal at all to you?
The game felt normal. Obviously, I think the only part that it didn't feel normal was in the beginning when I got fouled and I went to the free throw line and it was just quiet. But at the end of the day, like when you play basketball, you just try to make the right play. Most of the time, you're just thinking about how can you help your team. You just listen to your coach. So, me personally, I just try to lock in. It doesn't matter what goes outside the line, what happens outside the line. So, except that one time in the beginning of the game, the rest of the game felt normal. I think obviously we had the slow start, but when we start playing good basketball, we start running, we start moving the ball, knock down shots. We got the lead and we were able to win the game.
Freak of the East. He the freak of the East. Freak of the East. Freak of the East. You heard it here first. Giannis, the freak of the East. I'm sorry, the freak of the East. The freak of the East. The freak of the East. Giannis Antetokounmpo today came out, with lots of energy. Giannis also spoke in that post game in regards to his physical conditioning. He said that he didn't feel that his physical conditioning was up to par and where it needed to be. Due to the layoff and due to the inability for him to be able to go and get inside of the gym. But let's go ahead. Let's talk about today's action. As I mentioned before, the San Antonio Spurs defeated the The San Antonio Spurs lost to the Milwaukee Bucks earlier today, 113-92. The very bright spot for the Spurs is Lonnie Walker IV. He is the only bright spot because the Spurs are a team that are without LaMarcus. They lost, obviously, Bartons last year. They don't have any shooting. I saw, a league average shot chart for the Spurs, and most of their shots come in the mid-range. So that's easily the reason why they get blown off the floor every single night they play. The Spurs made 8 threes today. 8! The Bucks made 12. You're not going to win making 8 threes in a game. The Spurs shot from 3. The Bucks shot terrible from 3, but the Spurs only took 23 threes. The Bucks took 40. Pop, you're not going to win this way. It's over. That mid-range, Tim Duncan ain't walking through that door, Pop. He's not. Tim Duncan ain't walking through that door, Pop. So you got to do what you got to do. And when you play the freak of the East, freak of the East, freak of the East, freak of the East, Giannis, a.k.a. MVP, a.k.a. probably future defensive player of the year and MVP. But I do think that this game was good for the Bucks. I think the one thing that it did remind me about the Bucks is that the Bucks are a team that are like the Warriors early on. In the second half, the third quarter of games is when they end games, period. And I think that if they can continue to end games in the third quarter, the Milwaukee Bucks will easily and have no problem whatsoever dealing with any team in the Western Conference, for the sheer fact of they are a team that, last year they didn't have a lot of shooters. But this year, if you look at this Milwaukee Bucks team, and let's actually go back to the roster. If you look at this Milwaukee Bucks team, Chris Middleton, shooter. Brook Lopez, shooter. Wesley Matthews, shooter. Kyle Korver, shooter. Boom, shooter. They didn't have any of those guys last year. None of those guys, except for Brook. Wesley Matthews, deadly shooter. Kyle Korver, deadly shooter. Chris Middleton, deadly shooter. A guy that's probably going to average this season 20 points, shooting 90, 50, 40, which is incredible, even though I am not a big fan of Chris Middleton. But let's go ahead. Let's get ready to actually get out of here in 1 second. But I want to make sure that before we get out of here, we actually talk about the Rockets and the Raptors tomorrow. The Rockets and the and the Toronto Raptors tomorrow play their scrimmage at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. I am very, very interested in seeing what is going to happen. James Harden actually spoke to the media earlier today about what it was like scrimmaging and, kind of, with, amongst teammates and what he expects. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip from James Harden, and we're going to go ahead and talk about tomorrow's action and what I'm looking forward to seeing from the, the Rockets as well as the Toronto Raptors.
Just watching, a couple of the scrimmages, last night and today, NBA did a really good job of just, the atmosphere from what it looks like on TV. And so I'm excited about it. And then I'm excited about giving the world something to be excited about, giving them some joy and something to look forward to. I think everybody that's on the court, basically feels that same way.
All right. So, he said he's excited about bringing joy to people and doing those things. I personally, I think that, James Harden is a guy that, we all love to joke about. I love to joke about him, call him small game James, but he's a guy that's, that's without a doubt, if he can win a championship, if James Harden can win a championship or two championships in the next 3 to 5 years, he will probably go down as a top 10 player post 2000. I think, he has a lot of arguments on his behalf, but the biggest thing is that he's not winning, and he doesn't win at a clip in which you need him to win in order for him to be the guy. So I like the fact that he is excited about coming back and bringing fans joy. But James Harden, I need you to be in that same mode that LeBron was in. I need you to be in that same mode LeBron was in when LeBron came out today and had the dog in him. Have that dog in you, James Harden. Take that dog. Unleash the dog. Because I'm sick of it. I'm so happy Russell Westbrook is on James Harden's team. Because when things break down in the playoffs and James Harden go into that mode that he loved to go into where he shrink and take a step back and I'm not going to shoot because we losing. Russell Westbrook going to say, give me that ball. And he going to be chucking it. So tomorrow, what I'm looking forward to seeing from the Rockets versus the Raptors scrimmage is to see how well the Raptors look. Also to see their lineups. I think that they have been a team this year that has had to deal with a lot of health issues, which I think is not only concerning for them earlier, but also a big reason as to why, even though they're still the second seed in the NBA East, they hadn't really had a real consistent streak to them all year. Fred VanVleet was in and out of the lineup. Norman Powell was injured a little bit. Kyle Lowry has had some injuries. Mark Gasol, who's a lot slimmer now, has dealt with some stuff. They've had, Chris Boucher got knocked upside the head in a Lakers game. He was not on his lips. So they've been dinged up all year. They were a team that actually went and actually played together a lot over quarantine and then COVID, because they are obviously in Canada. They were a team that's been together for months, so they are ready to defend their title run. So I'm just looking for them to look themselves and be healthy. As for the Houston Rockets, I'm looking for the Rockets to just really just come out, look healthy. I want to see what their offense looks like. I want to see what they look like against a team that actually is going to have a very, very good defense and not going to be a team that's going to lay down. I think the thing that you've seen from a lot of these scrimmages, that none of these guys at all, none of them are going out there and they're laying down. They're not laying down. They're not acting as if this game doesn't matter. They're not acting as if this is a preseason game or a practice. No, they're playing. LeBron came out and for 20 minutes, balls to the wall, full metal, did what he was supposed to do. So that was great. But anyways, before I get ready to get out of here, patreon.com/HNB. Please make sure you go there right now. Subscribe. We got a special open chat room for everybody that can come in and you can chat with me and Pavi and everybody else that work with the Hoops and Brews team. You can chat with us about that. You can also chat with me, your boy. So make sure you go youtube.com/HNB Media TV. Subscribe. Patreon.com/HNB. Subscribe. YouTube.com/HNB. YouTube.com/Hoops and Brew. Subscribe. We got so many channels. Also, we got a NBA interviews channel. You can see that as well. You can check that out. So before we get ready to get out of here tonight with the 2-for-1 show, I would like to thank you all for watching the 2-for-1 show. I will try to be back tomorrow night with another quick episodes recapping the NBA action. Please make sure you all continue to like, subscribe the videos. I just want to say, for my outro, I am happy, extremely happy that the NBA is back. And I have been a person, and you've heard me say on all of our platforms, that I did not want them to come back because I feel like they would be a distraction. Are they a distraction? I don't know. I asked Paul George about that yesterday, and he told me that he didn't feel that they were a distraction, that he felt that their job was to continue to bring light and shed light on a lot of these situations that are going on. So I can't call them a distraction. But the one thing that I will say is that as long as these guys continue to leverage their platform and utilize their voices, you won't hear a critique or any level of vitriol or anything from me in regards to any of these players. Shout out to LeBron James. Shout out to Paul George. Shout out to all of the players out there that are going out and utilizing their platforms to speak about everything that's going on. James Harden, he's been a guy that's mentioned it. Russell Westbrook has been a guy that's mentioned it. And I think that it begins and it ends with us. And although we as black people tend to get emotional when we feel as though we are being betrayed or we feel as though something is going against us, I think what these guys are showing is that they're not betraying us and doing us a disservice by going and playing basketball, because they're going to continue to allow the conversations that need to be had. And as long as they do that, you will never hear any critique, from me in regards to what's going on with these NBA players. This has been your boy TPJ. Please, guys, make sure you go right now. You follow me online on Twitter, Instagram, at Real TPJ. That's REELTPJ. It's a film joke. If you don't get it, you damn dummy. And I'm going to leave you all with the same clip that I started this show off with, and that's LeBron James talking about Breonna Taylor and refusing to take any real questions about the actual basketball games that were played today, and instead utilize his platform to actually talk about the murder and the injustice of Breonna Taylor and what's going on with that. Until next time, it's your boy TPJ. Please make sure you like, you subscribe, and I will get up with you all later. Thank you very much for checking in and tuning in to the 2 for 1 show, and I'll talk to you later. Peace out.
Start off with Mike Trudell.
Hey, LeBron, Mike Trudell from LA. Just wondered, what were you looking to get accomplished tonight, not individually, but as a team? What was the focus, and how did you feel like the team and your teammates responded?
Well, first of all, I want to continue to shed light on, justice for Breonna Taylor and to her family and everything that's going on with that situation. To answer your question, we want to just try to get better. We use this moment as a training camp to continue to implement our identity. Our identity is to defend, share the ball, push the tempo, and play together. So I think we was able to accomplish that to as close as 40 minutes as possible.